The Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, NARTO, has suspended its planned nationwide strike. NARTO National President Othman Yusuf directed members to immediately resume petrol loading activities after a meeting held in Abuja. It was gathered that the meeting was attended by the Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Eniki Akpobiri, with NARTO oil marketers and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. This followed Monday meeting with the federal government and stakeholders after tanker drivers suspended operation and stopped lifting of petroleum produce among harsh economic realities. NARTO members had threatened to shut down all the countries beginning on Monday over the high cost of automotive gas oil, also known as diesel, which is used to fuel their trucks for the movement of petroleum products across Nigeria. The association explained that the decision to withdraw its operation was due to the high operational cost in the industry, with diesel at the moment selling above 1,200 naira per litre in the country. While many Nigerians are relieved over the suspension of the strike action of NARTO due to the untold hardship it would have brought to Nigerians, with queues already experienced in some cities yesterday and petrol already sold for 700 naira in Delta, many of the view that the government should do more to stop such strike action and protest occasioned due to the prevailing hardship in the land. But the big question on the big story for today: would protest and strike action be the way to go? Will it not further compound the sufferings of the people who are already dealing with a whole lot? And if yes, what should the federal government help to do to stop it? Well, a look at these and more as it concerns the present hardship in the land and the issue of strike actions and protests is what this edition of the big story is all about. And that is, we are taking a critical look at the present, not just only the present hardship, but would protests and strikes be the best way to go? Well, anyway, to help us talk about this is no other person but a member, the Chief Executive Officer of the Value Rebate Center, and also the State Coordinator of the Transition Monitoring Group. And he's no other person, but I'd rather put him Comrade Edewo Egedegbe. Good morning and welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
Well, anyway, it's not a beautiful one at the moment, as it stands for millions of Nigerians who seem to be going through a difficult time as the hardship still persists. But let's leave that for now. For many of them, it was more of a relief yesterday that the members of the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners had suspended the strike action they embarked on Monday. As of yesterday, we took a drive around town, and fuel was being sold at 700, 800 naira per litre, and some station closed shop, adding to the suffering of motorists and commuters. Okay, yes, we know the first place is due to the high operational cost of lifting the product to their destination, as stated by the union. But in all, the strike action at the moment is going to lead to untold hardship to many of Nigerians. Now, in your own view, and we're talking about how it will be for ordinary Nigerians, do you feel it is right for these strike actions to go, looking at the hardship it's going to bring to Nigerians? That's my first question. And a follow-up question to that: do you feel the government can only be compelled to have a rethink on some of the policies they've taken that's bringing this untold hardship if these strike actions and protests are backed on by these different unions? Two questions.
Thank you once again for having me.
Yes.
Is it right for citizens to embark on a strike? It is their legitimate right to so do, in a peaceful manner. That's what.
But looking at the present hardship in the land.
No, I'm coming to that.
Okay.
I'm just trying to lay
a foundation. Yeah, go ahead.
it is their legitimate right and constitutional right to go back on a strike to, protest against the ills of government. When government policies and decisions are not in tandem with the reality of times, then strike is an option, but not the only option. It's an option. Yeah, it's an option. Okay. Now, when you look at the implication of strike, they are adverse. There are adverse implications, no doubt. But speaking on what is happening today in Nigeria, it shows insincerity on the part of citizens of this country. It shows insincerity first and foremost on the part of government. Government has not been sensitive all along. You come with policies that you don't have the right framework to match them. That's what we are suffering today. President Tinubu came on stream May 29 and said subsidy is gone. Now, many people talked about the beauty of subsidy going, that there will be more money. Yeah. But you also know that we have a very primitive, mindset of citizens, majorly, that will cash in on any opportunity that is created. Yeah. The moment that statement was made at Eagle Square, in less than 30 minutes, pump price have been adjusted without any conversation with anybody. So
you did not see that happening?
So that's what I'm saying. That majority of the policies that were shown out by successive administration, including this one in this country, they are insensitive. They don't think through before they make pronouncement. And when you make pronouncement without thinking through, there are dark consequences, and that's what we are faced today. Now, 9 months down the line of that pronouncement, there is no clear-cut measure to mitigate the effect of that pronouncement. Now, that has affected every fabric of our, social life, our society today. So, you see that you thought that you want to make a decision in the interest of the people, but some persons turn it around. It becomes a negative. It comes about with negative effect for the day-to-day living of the citizen. Okay. And I've come to think of it, what is the essence of government? The essence of government is to ensure the security of lives and property of our citizenry.
Okay, but I'll play with you, Comrade Dewa Gedigbe, to hold on a bit. I want us to really think this through. Presently now as it stands, inflation is at 28.9% in January, the highest we've had in 28 years. I just listened to what you said. But the others will also argue that apart from those policies, not well thought out policies, there are other reasons we are presently going through the hardship we're going. Because I really want a holistic view of why we are presently in the, forgive my language, mess we are in. Now others will say why there seems to be hardship in the land. We've heard of persons smuggling food out of this country. 50 trucks were intercepted going to Niger Republic just yesterday by Nigerian custom. The others will say, well, yeah, okay, policy of floating of the naira is also a big one. Just like you said, the removal of fuel subsidy. But others will also put it on the table of the last administration and talk about the issue of food insecurity that took almost center stage all through the 8 years of that last administration, having farmers not going to farm. Hence, we are now having food shortage. So I want us to really understand, because I want a direction on this. What do you feel is the reason for the present hardship we are all experiencing? Is it a accumulation of all I've said? Or is what you are saying, the removal, the basic reason for all of this? So let's really understand the hardship in the land. Why are we here now?
Yeah, clearly put, it's a cumulative of, past misgovernance.
Okay.
It's a cumulative of past misgovernance from 1990 dates.
Okay.
Now, I like to paint a picture. Nigeria is 64 years by October 1st this year.
Yeah.
Now, we've always said that, look, the British colonized Nigeria, and they were not good, they were not fair to us.
Yeah.
They created a whole lot of roadblocks for us.
Yeah.
Because they
want
want
into nationhood.
Yes, into nationhood. And because the reason was because they want to manipulate us, even though having gotten independence from them. This was the story. But for crying out loud, I've always told people that, look, how can we continue to tell this story for 64 years that we cannot have a homegrown solution to our problems? It doesn't make sense. 64 years old man is already aging. He's no longer growing. He's a grandfather. So I don't like when people want to now begin to shift goalposts in the middle of the game. For instance, why I don't want to talk so much about, oh, it didn't start today, it has been there. And I don't like to take that lamentation perspective. Okay. No. For instance, when Mr. President Tinubu was coming in, he said he knows the problem of this country. That's what he told us.
Yeah.
That he knows the problem of this country, that he can fix it with a magic wand. That he did it in Lagos. He was starved of allocation for over 2 years, and he ran Lagos successfully until the Supreme Court gave him the leeway, and he got his money back and all of that. So Nigerians were full of expectation, including me, that, oh, maybe if he can replicate what he did in Lagos, then,
which is a mini Nigeria, then we
will have a sigh of relief to governance. But, you know, before we know it, he came in, he made those, sweeping statements, and this is where we are today. So the point I'm making is that you don't come to lament when you've earlier told us that you are coming to fix things. Has he told us that he's overwhelmed with what he meant? He has not told us that. But trying to now begin to, apportion blames to past government, because I heard some of his food soldiers speaking earlier last week that, the last government, he did all of this and that, and for crying out loud, he was part of the last government.
Even in the papers this morning that the Senate will probe about $30 billion loan.
22.7 trillion was another one.
Loan between the former president and Mefele being the governor of the central bank.
So the question you ask yourself is that we have with due respect to those we have in authority today, a people that are not, people-centric. They are not people-oriented.
Comrade Edewa Gidigbe, can you pencil out a major reason we are neck deep in this hardship now? Can you just pencil out 3 things that is making the inflation unthinkable, that is making Nigerians live on the edge at the moment, that is making everybody feeling that protest is the only way out? 3.
Number one, the government at the center is not showing the will and effrontery to confront the hide-headed, corruption that pervades the entire land space of Nigeria. Number one. Okay. The will and the courage. The political will.
Lacking.
Is lacking. Clearly, that's number one. Then number 2, there is also a clear, overwhelming situation that this current government is faced with today. They've, by their actions up to this 9 months of this administration, it is clearly, open to everyone that they are overwhelmed. They never envisaged that these things can be this way. Then thirdly, they did not also have a foolproof approach to governance at the point of entry. Foolproof in the sense that you need to have a strategic plan. A strategic plan that will have timelines for doing things. And if something happens in between, what is the mitigating approach that is coming into it? Plan B, Plan C, Plan D, as the case may be. All of these were missing. What we were told was just like, gagging the people into believing that something is going to happen, whereas there was nothing in the kitty in the first place. So these are 3 quick, reasons that you can see that nothing seems to be working in the positive, rather in the negative. Then another thing to add is that citizens also are culpable. Citizens are culpable to the extent that they made themselves gullible. That each election cycle, they are used and dumb. They are used and dumb because we cannot always talk about the government and not talk about the citizens. The government is made up of, people from the society. So what is our priority today as a people? Our priority is just to acquire wealth. primitively at the expense of the generality of Nigerians. How can a country be so blessed as Nigeria? And every day we try to now equate ourselves with countries that have less than 1, 2, 3 minerals, where we have well over 34 minerals domicile in this country, that the whole world will gravitate to come and tap, and we earn a living from all of those processes. But we don't have a system in place that can help that. You've just shared now that in the media, how many number of truckloads of 50 truckloads
going to Niger.
But
many will argue that's the genesis of this administration policy also. And reason they give is the closing of the border between Nigeria and Niger. Niger, as it stands now, is having food crisis on its hand because of the border being closed. And we do know we're more like a big brother to Niger and other West African countries. So they feel it's a bet of this administration policy, hard-handedness in dealing with the issues of coup d'etat in Niger Republic, which is just a brother to us, yeah. So many feel that's the reason we are now having food shortage, because many Nigerians are making it big time, reaping from the food scarcity in Niger, taking the food from here and there, and now we are now facing it. So they feel it's the genesis of this administration's policy.
No, let me tell you this. Let me tell you this clearly. When Nigerian government, from successive one to this current one, when they tell you that they have put up a policy there, the policies are not foolproof. I've said that.
Yeah.
They are not foolproof. The more you look, the less you see. When you say you close border, I heard over the news some 2 days back that there are 34 illegal, entry points in our border communities in this country. 34. Illegal. 34. So when you say you close border, are you joking, or are you kidding someone? Why do you tell innocent Nigerians that you close border, whereas there are illegal borders that our goods are going in and coming out from? Does it make sense? So what is the role of our custom agents, our immigration officers? What are they not doing?
So do you feel this insincerity on the part of government?
I've said so. Insincerity on the part of government and citizens.
Because yesterday, the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, said, we have no business being poor and hungry. So he said. Now, the reason I'm asking you this question, everybody applauded him for saying that. He said it's now time we take a different approach into dealing with our business, and especially the issue of food security. But just like what you've portrayed now, do you feel most of the utterances coming from government are just political statements?
They are political statements. I've said so before, and I'm going to say it again. Now he's speaking to the emotions of citizens because of where we are now, so that we can take them serious. But Nigerians are losing patience. That's the point to be made anywhere. Nigerians are losing patience. Did you listen to one secondary school student who, in his debate, talking about when he was even
a primary school student in the north
could give you a grasp of how our politicians and public office holders have ruined this country, and he was at the verge of cursing them, wishing them dead. That's the level of the deterioration of what our politicians have made us to look like. That's the truth. But again, I'm quick to take a swipe at the citizenry. We made ourselves so gullible. These people come, give us crumbs, and we begin to praise them. When you sing their praise, they think that they are doing well. So they continue in that spree. That's one of the reasons where we are today.
Neck deep into the crime.
Neck deep into this. You see somebody, a politician will come with all manner of jeeps and security, and you think that he has arrived. He has arrived at your expense. We sing them. So they will always wish that you remain that way so you can sing them. That's the point. So until citizens begin to get back at this politician, legitimately, getting back is this protest now is one of it, which is calling them out that, look, you are failing us. Let's not give up here that we are failed. No, that you are failing us, that you need to wake up. Now, good as that statement of Vice President, what are the steps
to take?
What are the steps to take?
Well, you talk about mechanized farming.
You are talking about mechanized farming. There is no security at the farms. How do you go for mechanized farming? All our silos that we have all across this country today, there are no storage in the silos. Because last year you knew.
Rain.
Of course.
The flood.
Flood came. Then of course, farmers were not allowed to go to the farms to farm. Without farming, where would there be harvest? So how have you dealt with security? To the extent that farmers can go to the farm and farm. It is the produce of the farm that will be kept in our storages. That at the time of farming like this, you can now go in there and pull them out. While there are other crops, other farms, where, you know, crops waiting to be harvested and you replace them. But what have we done about that? We keep recycling people, we keep turning people over and again without anything, without any tangible contribution. The other time, some of us were saying, oh, when Mr. President said he has given a benchmark
6 months.
6 months
Performance.
And performance index that is going to, this is February going now. Today is 21st February. We've not had anything in assessing the crop of 48 ministers that you have at the line. Things are getting worse every day. And heads are not rolling. And you think that Nigeria will take you serious? No. Mr. President said it's his turn. Let's agree that yes, hook or crook, he has gotten the turn. What have you done with the turn? Is it the turn that so that he's called Mr. President at the expense of what? Nigerian citizens? The answer is no now. That's why Nigerians are calling on him.
Well, I'll call on you to cease fire for a bit. We need to go on a break now. And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion centered on the recent hardship in the land. Should strike and protest be the way to go? Should they redirect the federal government to have a rethink? Or do you feel it would only add more hardship to the ones Nigerians are already experiencing? Let's go on a break.